If you take a postal address, so on that time there will be a delivery address also, that means destination address and source address, this kind of thing. So for the delivery address mean destination address, then also source address mean sending address. So like that, this kind of information, so we need to represent in our IP header, right? For example, for the destination address there will be some address. In computer network it is an IP address. So we have two different IP address, IPv4 and IPv6 address, right? In this video we are going to discuss about IPv4 IP address. So when you send your data packet in your internet, through the internet, on that time we are using this IPv4 address to identify source and destination device. IPv4 addresses are expressed as a set of 4 numbers in a decimal format, and each set is separated by a dot. For example, it is like this: 192.168.2.5. This is an IP address of the IPv4. You can see we have 4 sections, right? We have 4 number section, and maximum range for this each section is 0 to 255. You can paste any value between 0 and 255. So you can call here, you can say this is 8 byte, right? So one section is 8 byte. Then we have 4 byte, right? We have 4 byte. 4 byte mean 4 into 8. This is 32 bit address. So this is 32 bit address. That means, so maximum range is around 32 to the power 32. That means around 402 billion IP address in this IPv4 range, right? And this is a limited IPv4 number, right? When it comes to internet, we have more than 4.2 billion number. Because of that, this IPv4 range run out of IP address. Because of that, they have introduced IPv6, which is, it should be IPv6, which is 2 to the power 128 bit. That means very big number, right? So this will be enough for another 100 years as prediction, right? We don't know whether it will be enough or not, but currently it is enough IPv6 address. When it comes to IPv4 address again, so we have this section, we are calling this section octet, right? You can see we have 4 octet, 1, 2, 3, 4. Each of these numbers are between 0 and 255, and you can represent this in binary format like this. So when it comes to binary, this last one is what? 128. Then after we have 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. So each and every bit will be represent 2 to the power this number, right? A numbers and octet can range from 0 to 255. Therefore, the full IPv4 address space goes from this number to this number. This is the minimum number, this is the maximum number. The IPv4 address has 2 parts: network part to identify network, host part to identify host, right? So we have network part and host part. We are using class to identify this network and host part. So the network part of the IPv4 address is on the left hand side of the IP address. It specifies the particular network to where the IPv4 address belongs. The network portion of the address also identifies the IP address class of the IPv4 address. As I told, we have 5 classes: class A, B, C, D and E. Mainly we are using class A, B, C, but nowadays we aren't using this class also. We have CIDR, known as classless interdomain routing. We'll discuss this thing. So, and also we have range for these classes, right? 0 to 127 class A, then after 128 to 191 class B, then after class C 192 to 223. Mainly we are using this range. Then after we have class D and E. We aren't going to use these classes for the IP assignment. And then after for each and every class we have subnet marks also. To identify network we are using subnet mark, right? Then after we have host part, right? When you use class, you have this IP address, right? 192, which is in the class C range. As I told, It is between 192 to 223, which is class C. That means separation is happening here. So this section is for the network, this section is for the host. And we have subnet mask value for the class C, which is 255.255.255. We are using subnet mask to identify the network part. So to allocate IPv4 address, we have two kind of allocation, static and dynamic. Static means you are manually assigning your IP address, right? You are taking PC or any other device, then after you are manually giving an IP address for this device, like this. So you are giving manual IP address. Then after we have dynamic IP address, right? Dynamic IP address means it will use DHCP server to dynamic host configuration protocol server to add IP address to your device. So in which kind of situation we are going to assign this IP address dynamically? For example, now you are going to Pizza Hut or KFC, right? When you go to Pizza Hut, they have an IP address range for their Wi-Fi. For example, they have 50 IP address available for the Wi-Fi address, right? Then after, normally when you take any person is going to Pizza Hut or KFC once a month or once a week. When you go to Pizza Hut and connect to Wi-Fi network, on that time it will give a IP address which is dynamically given, not given by taking your mobile phone and assign up by manually. This IP address is given by DHCP server. When he give this IP address, it will give a lease period, right? That means expiration date. So it could be 2 days, 5 days. After this particular time, again our DHCP server will ask, send a request, is this device still available in our network? If there is no response, again it will free that IP address, it will allocate that IP address for the next customer, right? So this is how this IP address assigning work in the DHCP. Otherwise, if you are going to statically assign IP address, then you need lot of IP address for each and every customer, and there will be no usage of this IP address, because when a customer leave your Pizza Hut or KFC, we don't know whether he will come or not, right? Because of that, we are using dynamic IP address on this kind of situation. But if it is a server or something, you can configure it statically, because no need to change this server IP address, right? Then after we have public IP address and private IP address. Public IP address used to identify our device in the network. Identify in network. But then after we use private IP address to identify our device in our local network, right? Not in the public network, right? Used in private network for internet traffic within the local area network. Private addresses are not routable out the internet. You can't route through the internet if you are using private IP address, right? For the public IP address, you can route through the internet. This one is assigned by the ISP, that means internet service provider of your network.